Hello, friends. Welcome to 2008. Do you feel different? Today's conversation is really, I titled it Goals, Dreams, or Lies, because I think it's so interesting. We go through life and at the end of each year, we somehow feel like that's a reason for us to all of a sudden create all this new stuff in our life. And I just thought I'd bring this conversation up and ask you to feel into this a little bit. Why? Why does ending one year and starting a new year all of a sudden make it feel like you can set some new goals? Why does it make it feel like things are possible again? And are they actual possible again? Are you actually willing to do what it takes to create it? Or are you telling yourself a lie? And so I'm a pretty, it's so interesting. I see so much stuff out there about goal setting. I see so much stuff out there about not goal setting. There's just a lot of content. And I'm an avid goal setter. I do it every year. I have like a whole process I go through. I'm a big fan of it. I believe in it personally. But I think there's something specific I want to bring up, and it's about, are you telling yourself a lie? Like if you sit down and look, and if you did write a goal, have you written these goals before? If you're sitting down looking at something and you want a partner, or you want to make more money, or you want to finally do this thing that you've been talking about doing, and you look down and see something you've written, I want you to really ask yourself, do you actually want it? And do you want it more than the story you've been telling yourself, which is going to require you to get outside your comfort zone? Dang, busted, right? I just think it's interesting. I see this quite a bit with the men that I have conversations with for these men's retreats. Is we jump on the phone and they tell me about this amazing life of how they want these strong men in their life, and they want this financial freedom to create what they want to create in their life, and they want to live, and they want to travel, and they want to sculpt their body, and they want to be these gladiators, and they want to be a force for good, and they want to live these powerful missions where their partners are inspired by them, and they're inspired by who they are. They're congruent with their word. They feel this power, like they're leaving a legacy. And then we get up to the point of a conversation of enrollment, and they say, I don't have the money. And to me, it's like, how long have you been telling yourself that story? Do you actually want this? And it doesn't mean if it's with me, wherever you're going to do it, it has nothing to actually do with where you go get the result. To me, it's the mindset. If you're telling yourself a story that you don't have the money, that's what's stopping you from actually getting the results that you want. If you're telling yourself that whatever it is that you've been telling yourself and you keep looking at the end of the day, what I find is you're not willing to get outside your comfort zone. You're not willing to risk being vulnerable. You're not willing failure. You're not willing. You're too comfortable where you're at. And it's too easy to tell yourself a story of, and I say this too, I'm guilty. I'm just as guilty. So I'm not any better than anybody else. I do this in a number of areas in my life, and I'm constantly working on. But this is what I find. We tell ourselves this story that makes us feel good about why we can't achieve. Yeah. Hey, Anna, yeah, but Netflix and donuts are so good. Yeah. When I go home and watch movies and tell myself the sob story of why I am where I am and validate it by all these external sources, does it actually make me feel better, or do I feel worse? And what I will say is this last year I've taken more risk. I'm a pretty big risk taker, but I've taken more risks than I've ever taken. And I felt more outside my comfort zone than I've ever felt. And I'm actually feeling more at peace than I've ever felt. So, and a lot of the things that were limitations are all of a sudden shifting. And the way that I'm discovering it is through a lot of the work that I'm sharing with these retreats. Here's what I'm discovering. In life, we kind of as children, we were innocent children at one point in our lives. And then we were kind of going through life, and all of a sudden something happens outside of us that we feel pain, and we build this armor around. And whatever innocent side of us that was the dreamer, that was the playful kid that liked to have fun and dream and explore and create and had all these visions and felt invincible. Do you remember that point in your life? Do you remember when it felt like to feel invincible, like anything was at your fingertips? Can you imagine that point in your life? And what happened to that? What happened to the fear creeping in our lives, where instead of feeling excited and then actually jumping off a ledge? It was interesting. I was at an event and I saw this little kid, and he was just so carefree playing that you could just see it in it. He hadn't quite been jaded yet to the point of doubting himself and letting fear take place and letting the story hold him a victim to his life. Instead, he was still carefree with just believing what was possible, being bold, expressing his feelings, honoring what he's actually feeling inside instead of letting some story take his life by hold. So today is just about, I want to support you to imagine what's possible. I want to support you to really feel into your heart, like, what do you want? What do you desire? And how can you put yourself in a place to write it down like it's actually going to happen? And what steps would you have to take that are probably way outside your comfort zone, that sound incredibly uncomfortable, but you know you need to do in order to get the result that you're looking for? And maybe it's not an external result. Maybe the goal this year is just to be more gentle with yourself. Maybe this outcome is not about making more money or getting a better relationship or improving your body. Those things all may help you, make you feel better, but maybe it's just about being at peace. Maybe it's about being more loving, more at peace with who you are as a human, and finding peace within. What would that be? What would you be if you already had everything? What would you be if you could be complete with who you are as a human without any of the external things? What would you be if you felt complete without the money? If you felt complete without the body or the health or how you looked to other people? What if you felt complete without the partnership that you so crave? What if you felt complete without any of it? And you were just at peace with who you were. And you could go through life without being triggered, without feeling less than, without feeling the sense of having to prove yourself. And if you wanted something, you could actualize it, but it didn't matter, you know? So to me, I'm still doing all my goals. I'm pretty avid about it, but a lot of my goals are changing from external things that I used to think would make me happy, or I used to project into the future. If only I had this, then I could have that. Can anybody relate? Only if I had enough money, then I would do this. If I had a better body, then I would do this, then I would get this. And there's all these stories we build about what we think we want when we're goal setting and what that will give us. But at the end of the day, what if I just felt at peace with who I was as a human? What if I was just happy and I could get around people who tried to put me down or tried to do whatever, and I didn't even, it didn't involve me. It was just like, okay, I wasn't involved, or I could go through life, and if I wanted to create something, I could create it and I could experience it. And so, you know, goals, dreams, or telling yourself a lie. I just wanted to say, let's try something different this year. Let's not do, if you've set goals every year and you haven't achieved them, don't do it. Right? If you sit down and you write the same things and you're not getting the results, what do you do differently? What can you do outside the box? How can you change your approach? How can you do something you haven't done? What can you do to get outside your comfort zone? Maybe you set some new goals to feel at peace with who you are. Maybe the goal isn't to have more money or to have a better body or to have this relationship or this partnership, but maybe the goal this year is just to love yourself at a deeper level where you feel like, man, I'm at peace. I'm at peace no matter what happens in life. I'm at peace no matter what happens in our political arena. I'm at peace no matter what happens to my sphere of influence. I'm at peace no matter what happens with my family or my loved ones if tragedy strikes. I'm at peace no matter what happens in my life. I'm at peace with who I am. And what if that was the goal this year? And what if your lens you were looking through wasn't about achievement, but about integrity being at peace with who you are and loving yourself? And it's a different conversation. I know there's so much of goal is external, and I'm a fan of that too. I have a lot of external goals. But what I'm realizing is if I'm not at peace with who I am as a man, if I can't be in integrity with honoring my word, then none of it matters. So just wanted to support you, setting some good goals, setting some good dreams. Make sure that you put yourself and how you feel and your commitment to honoring your word and loving yourself as the primary goal, because that's what it's all about. Wishing you a beautiful day.